Good morning, good morning. Dave Benson here. Hope you are doing fantastic, that you're living the dream, that you're building the life that you've always wanted. I am excited to come to you with another episode of Selling Cars on Social today and every Friday here on Facebook Live, my Facebook Live, and in the Sales Hustlers group. If you're not already a sales hustler, if you sell cars and you're not already as an active part of the Sales Hustlers group, make sure you jump on in there and check it out. We've got over 2,000 members, which is really cool. Jamel, Steve, Jonathan, how are you, champions? Jeremy, thanks for joining. I've got a very, very cool video, pretty cool topic to talk about today. And it's one that's going to stretch the friendship, right? And the title of today is Why You Shouldn't Be Doing Facebook Lives. And there's many of us that are just new to video. We're new to selling cars on social, or we're new to building a personal brand. And so I'm going to talk to you about some of the pitfalls of Facebook Live and why it actually can hurt you more than it actually helps you. This might be very ironic for me to be delivering this to you on a Facebook Live. Good morning, Steve. Or good evening, Steve. How are you? I've got to stop saying good morning or good evening. I don't know where you are, and it doesn't matter. It just matters that you tune in, that you like this, give me some love down the bottom, send me some thumbs up, and make sure that you share this, because this is going to go across your timeline so that you can share this with other salespeople or other people that are trying to do Facebook Lives and they're really struggling. And I'm going to give some pointers of why you shouldn't be doing it and what you should be doing instead, especially when you're starting off. G'day, Jeremy. How are you, champion? Hope you're doing well and have applied some of those things from yesterday. Dave Clayton, Michael Connolly. How are you, champions? Caleb's in the group. Fantastic. So I'm going to make a start, and let's get stuck into selling cars on social media that I do every single Friday. So why shouldn't you be doing Facebook Live? Why shouldn't you be doing Facebook Live? Well, I've got 5 reasons of why this actually will hurt you, and Facebook Live will hurt you more than it helps you. And the first thing is, and you're probably not going to like this, right? But the number one reason why you shouldn't be doing Facebook Lives is because right now you're no good. You're not good at video. If you're starting out at video, now I'm not pointing the finger at anybody here, but if you're starting out on video, you do not want to start out with Facebook Live. And the reason for that is because you want to practice and you want to hone and develop your skills. And what you're in essence doing by pressing that Facebook Live button is that you are sharing your message with your entire audience. In essence, you're practicing on your audience. Now, if you've got something specific that you want to say and you've gone over it, 5 or 6 times in the shower and you've practiced and all this sort of stuff, then, it can be a lot clearer. But if you are not a professional and you haven't mastered the art of looking down the barrel of a camera and speaking to an audience, then you're probably not great at it. And because you're not great at it, it can actually hurt you. I was listening to a friend of mine talk about a lot of CEOs and people. There goes my screen again. See, that's what happens on Facebook Live, right? That's what happens, right? I'm going to talk about technical issues in a moment, right? Facebook Live, that's what happens, right? It's live, it's real. So I was talking to a friend of mine who he engages with a lot of CEOs of some big corporations in Australia. And he actually said that a lot of these CEOs are actually losing credibility with their staff and with their audience because they're pressing Facebook Live, or they're using, different social medias to get a message out on video when they're not clear, when they're not concise, and it actually drops their credibility factor, because they normally would send out an email and might get proofread by their PA. It might get all adjusted and in the right formats, or they put out a statement that is really clear. But when you go live on Facebook, when you go live on video, if you're not used to it, you can really suck at it. And so it actually drops your credibility factor. I'm going to be interesting to see your feedback. Jonathan disagrees with me. You can set it to only you. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to share about some practices, right, Jonathan? I'm going to share some practices of what can work better for you. But the number one reason is you're probably not good at it. So if you're starting new on video, you need to practice and hone your skills in a recorded fashion before you press the live button. The second reason is that you currently don't have an audience. If you're new to Facebook, or you're new to Facebook Live, or you're trying to start off building an audience that would be engaged with you, at the moment, that your family, maybe your mum follows you and jumps in on all the live videos, and she's the only person, it drops again your credibility factor because you're yet to build an audience. And the biggest challenge is that what we end up doing is we focus on the people that are on the call. In essence, we get distracted with our audience, and I started reading some of the comments. It's easy to get distracted based on the comments that are popping up, and all of a sudden the message that you were going to share gets taken off course. It's also very interesting. A lot of salespeople, they start talking to other salespeople, right? They start giving a point for the day on how to be a great salesperson, but their key target audience is not other salespeople. It is their customers, it is potential clients, it's family, it's friends, it's customers they've sold cars to previously, it's their network, it's about talking to them and their target market. Now you might find this weird because Sean Hayes, for example, in Florida, he targets salespeople, but what he's realized is that's actually his audience. Right? His audience is actually not customers, but for you, if you're selling cars, I can tell you your audience is potential customers, not on being the next sales trainer, the next Sean Hayes, the next Dave Benson, the next Tony Robbins, the next Grant Cardone. If that's your goal, man, go after that as your audience. But I'm talking about selling cars on social media. So point number 2 is you don't have an audience, and if you do have an audience, they're not the right people, and you don't target them correctly. Point number 3. This is very easy to do, and Sean and I talk about this all the time, is that it's very easy to ramble on Facebook Live. It's very easy because you're just having a conversation with people just to continue to go on and on and on and on and on. Rather than set it for a 5-minute video, 10-minute video, you end up being 15, 20 minutes and you ramble. And people don't like to hear it. The average YouTube clip is watched between 2 and 4 minutes. Right? Now, the reason for that is because people have a short attention span. And so unless you have an audience that jumps in like they are right now in my page, it's very easy to just go on and on and on, and I hope that you're getting a message across. So you need to be really clear and concise when you're starting video. And so what I encourage you to do instead of Facebook Live at this point, in order to be clear and concise, is use Facebook Story. Use Facebook Story, use Instagram Story, or alternatively, even use Instagram video. And the reason for that is because on Instagram Story and Facebook Story, I think you've got about 15 to 20 seconds. You have to be really clear and really concise about what you're trying to say in 15 to 20 seconds. On the flip side, if you're using Instagram, you've only got, I think, 1 minute is the maximum video that you can post to Instagram, 10 minutes on LinkedIn. But on Facebook Live, you can just go ballistic and you can do a one hour talk that no one finds engaging. So you don't want to ramble, you want to be concise, and you want to practice being concise. So this is a gold nugget for you. Ready for this, right? How to be concise. Every time you stare down the barrel of the camera, you want to be thinking about 3 things. Firstly, your key point. What's the one key takeaway? What's the one key point that you want to get across in this video? The second thing is, what is a story or what is an example that you're going to share about that point, right? So 1 point, 1 story, and 1 encouragement. In other words, 1 call to action. 1 thing that you want to leave people with. Hey, don't forget to sign up to Sales Hustlers. Hey, make sure that you contact me if you're interested in that car. Make sure you like or share, whatever it might be. But you want to have those 3 things, and you can be really concise. You can do that in 1 minute, and it takes some practice, right? It takes some practice to do this, but you want to keep concise and short. I'm not going to ramble. I don't want to ramble, right? Point number 4 is connection issues. I see a lot of people do Facebook Lives and they're connected to their Wi-Fi and their Wi-Fi signal cuts out. It says broadcast interrupted. Now, I've seen the statistics of drop-offs as soon as a broadcast is interrupted from Facebook, and people just drop out of the room straight away. Right, so my encouragement to you is to realize that you need to practice this and understand where you're going to do it for connection issues, for dropout issues, for dropout of like even my Wi-Fi signal TV of my background, right? You know, it might be the lighting. You know, it might be the fact that you're not used to staring at the camera. It might be that you know, you're standing outside your dealership and it's a windy day, or you're standing outside the dealership and there's trucks going past so you can't be heard. So connection issues and all the technical side of things, you want to practice and actually look at the video that you've done that's pre-recorded and say, you know, is that good enough in order to publish? If it's not good enough, I don't publish it, I redo it. And that's what practice is, right? Continually doing things to improve your result. That's point number 4. And point number 5 is the videos that you do on Facebook Live are really hard to reuse. So you probably want to use these videos on your YouTube page, you know, on your other social media platforms, and you probably want to put them on your own personal website in order to build some credibility and send your customers there. The problem is, unless you're going to go through and edit the start and the end out, and you're going to, you know, if you've got technical issues and all that sort of stuff, even potentially they're not recorded in as high quality as a pre-recorded one is, you're not going to be able to use those on other platforms. So my big encouragement to you is really get good at video before you go to Facebook Live. Get good at doing your Facebook stories. This is my challenge. This is my key takeaway for you today, is that I would encourage you, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat, to start practicing your pitch, to start practicing your key points. Remember I said 1 point, 1 story, and 1 key takeaway, or the things that you want them to do as a result of that video. Practice on those forums, right? So Facebook Live, I want to start seeing all your Facebook Lives, Facebook stories, should I say, in the top left corner. I want to see those, 15 seconds, get your point across, be clear, be concise, practice in that format, and then get good at it. And I cannot wait to then see you go live on Facebook. Because the really cool thing is when you see the number of people popping up, and when you see people starting to share this, and you see the love hearts go across, it helps you and encourages you. But you're only going to get there when you have the right audience, when you're clear and concise about what you're saying, and you're damn good at Facebook Live. I hope this has helped. My encouragement to you is start getting on Facebook story. I look forward to seeing those. Make sure you like and share this. I look forward to seeing you in the Sales Hustlers group. Have a fantastic Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's the weekend coming. You get to sell. Go and hustle today. Be great in every way.